Welcome to the Ibn Jabal Level 1 Arabic taster session. I have three primary goals from this taster session, or three main goals. Now, the first goal is quite interesting, where the Ibn Jabal Institute, if you go on our website, if you peruse through our material, our synopsis, our syllabus, you'll see this one recurring theme. And the first theme, this one recurring theme you'll see is that the Level 1 course, the Level 1 course of the Ibn Jabal Arabic Institute makes a very bold statement. And it claims that, a very bold statement, and it claims that the Institute can teach the first year, or the grammatical concepts of the first year of an Arabic degree in 15 lessons. Right? That's a pretty bold statement to make. So the grammatical content in the first year of an Arabic degree, simply in 15 lessons. Wow, you're thinking that's not possible. And so my first goal is to ensure and to show you that yes, it is possible. We can do that, and we've been doing that for over 12 years now. That's my first goal. My second goal, I don't just want this to be sort of a one-way session. I don't just want to talk about the Institute and that's all. But rather, I'm going to explain to you some basic concepts of the Arabic language, such that by the end of this session, you're going to be composing your very own Arabic sentences. So you're going to be saying things like, the boy is a student, right? Or the boy wrote the book. Sentences like that, both noun sentences and verb sentences, right? So that's my second goal. So my first is to show you how we teach so much material in such a short space of time. And number two, I want you to be able to actually compose your very own Arabic sentences. And my third goal, and this is my favorite part, the most exciting part, I want you to have the opportunity of tasting the beauty of the Arabic language. I'm going to bring the beauty of the Arabic language to life, and I'm going to enable you to taste some of that beauties and see why Arabic is such an exciting language. It's such an exciting language. And more specifically, I'm going to express that beauty of the Arabic language through the glorious Quran, which is the greatest form of the Arabic language that exists. So those are my three goals. That number one, to show you how we do what we do in such a short space of time. Number two, for you to actually compose your very own Arabic sentences. And number three, for you to actually taste the beauty of the Arabic language. Right. Okay, brilliant. Let's get cracking. So I'm going to go straight into it. The Arabic language has two key components. Number one, it's known as an analytic language. Right, an analytic language. Now, what do you guys think? What does it mean to analyze something? What's analysis all about? Analysis is all about breaking things down, right? It's all about breaking things down into their constituent components, right? Now, why would you do that, right? You break things down so you can gain further understanding, right? Now, the way you do it is when you analyze something, you break it down, you understand those individual components better, but not just that. You look at the relationship between those components, right? That's what analysis is about, right? Breaking things down into components, understanding each of those components, and understanding the relationship between those components. And when you do that, when you do this process of analysis, what it gives you is more understanding and a greater meaning of whatever you're analyzing. And that's exactly how the Arabic language works. There are certain words in the Arabic language that just don't exist. For example, the word of. There's no word for of in the Arabic language. Right? Likewise, there's no word for is in the Arabic language. So you're thinking, what? If I want to say, he is hungry, what? Do I just say he hungry? Well, yeah, that's actually what you say. You say he hungry. Right? So how is the is and how are the of? How are the is and the of produced? They're produced from structure, where you analyze the structure and what's happening in that phrase, the various structural differences will produce these new meanings. And that's where analysis comes in. That's what an analytic language is. An analytic language is a language for which certain words and meanings, they're not written. For example, the word of, is, they're not written. They're not actual words, but the meanings are produced from structure. Now let me give you an example, just to bring the point home. If I give you a phrase like this, right, so ilmu al-talibi, right? Ilmu al-talibi. Now I'm pronouncing it as al-talibi just for teaching purpose. I know some of you would have studied the rules pertaining to pronunciation. Normally it would be at-talibi, but for the purpose of this session, I'm going to pronounce everything separately. You got ilmu al-talibi. Now this first word ilm, right? Who knows what ilm means? Right? Excellent, knowledge. Right? And likewise, talib. Right? What does the word talib mean? Does anybody have any idea what the word talib means? Yeah, student. It can mean seeker, but more commonly it means student. That's right. So now if you have a look at this, you've got the word ilm, which means knowledge, and you've got the word talib, which means student. And you look at it, you can, okay, ilm means knowledge, talib means student, therefore the phrase means knowledge student. No, wait, hang on a second, you're not going to say that. That doesn't make sense. Right? You're not going to translate this as knowledge student, because that just doesn't make sense. So what's going on here? Between these two words, within this phrase, between these two words, there are two key structural differences. One at the beginning of the word and one at the end. Right? Let's look at what's going on here. At the beginning of the words, notice how talib begins with an L, right? Yet the word ilm doesn't, right? So that's the first key structural difference, that the first word has no L, but the second word, it does have an L, right? So the difference number one is to do with the L, the alif and the lam, that the first word has no L, but the second word does. The second key structural difference is to do with the ending. Notice how the word ilm ends in an u, but the word talib ends in an e. Right? So the second difference is to do with the ending. In the Arabic language, when you have these key structural differences between two words, so the first word has no L but ends in an u. The second word does have an L but ends in an E. That actually produces the word of. That's how we produce the word of in the Arabic language. You see? So the first word, no L, ends in an U. The second word does have an L, ends in an E. When you see that relationship between any two words, you're going to translate an of in between those words. So when you look at this, right, what's the translation going to be? It's going to be the knowledge of the student. Knowledge of student. You see that? So now that makes more sense. The knowledge of the student. Right? The student's knowledge, in reality, right? It's the student's knowledge, the knowledge of the student. Right? But that's how the of is produced in the Arabic language. Now what's interesting is that the majority of us see this construct day in and day out of our everyday lives. Right? Let me give you such an example. Right? Now I'm going to write a phrase down and just tell me if it rings any bells. Rasulu Allahi. Right, ring any bells? Right? Rasulullahi. Now what does the word Rasul? We know that the word Rasul means messenger. Right? And the word Allah is Allah. But again, notice those key structural differences. Rasul has no L, ends in an U. The word Allah has an intrinsic L as part of the very word and ends in an E. And so we know that Rasulullah means what? The messenger of Allah. You see that? And you know this because you say, the majority of you would say Rasulullah day in and day out. Right? Yet, you never really understood, wait, why? Where did the of come from? This is where the of comes from. Right? Arabic is an analytic language. Right? And the meaning is produced, the of is produced, how? From structure. You see that? The of is produced from structure. Now I'm going to test you slightly. Right? Let's see if you've actually understood it. Right? A lot of you are probably nodding at home. I'm going to actually test you. Let's see. I'm going to write down a phrase. I'm going to write down a phrase. And I want you to tell me what this means. Right? Again, I'm going to use my original two words. Right? The word ilm, which means knowledge, and the word talib, which means student. But I'm going to change them around slightly. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say talibu al-ilmi. Right? So that's my phrase. My phrase is talibu al-ilmi. Let me just move it up slightly so that you can compare it to what we had before. Okay, so that's what we had before. Before we had ilmu al-talibi. Now compare the structures of the two words. Do we have the same structure? Right, yeah, we do. Right, the first word, which is now talib, the first word has no al, ends in an u. The second word does have al and ends in an e. We know that talib means student. We know that ilm means knowledge. So therefore this phrase means what? The student of knowledge. Exactly. Right? That's exactly what it is. Right? The phrase means the student of knowledge. Right? And that's what Arabic is. Arabic is an analytic language. Words are produced from structure. Right? Does that make sense to everybody? This is one of the beauties of the language, right? It's known as an analytic language. Right? That's the first key quality of the language, right? Now, in reality, before I go into the second quality, right? Before I go into the second quality, right? Did you find that immensely difficult? Right? I mean, we didn't actually spend too long on that. What, about 10, 15 minutes? Right? 10 minutes. Did you find that difficult? What you actually learn is a construct in the Arabic language known as the possessive construct. Right? The possessive construct. The possessive construct, which is something of something, is used everywhere in the Arabic language. Seriously, there are sort of 5 main constructs of the Arabic language, and this is one of them. You've learned a fifth of grammar, really, right? But this is just a step closer to understanding the IJ way. It's all about understanding, really looking into something, analyzing it so that you really understand, and the meanings and the concepts are really embedded. And so now let's go deeper, right? So that's the first quality. It's an analytic language. The second key quality of the Arabic language is that it's known as an inflected language. Now, what's that all about? What's an inflected language? Now, inflection. This I'm gonna give you directly. Inflection is all about the way the word ends. See, a word in the Arabic language could end in an u, it could end in an e, or it can end in an a. Right? U, e, a. Those are the 3 possible endings for a word in the Arabic language. Now, the way a word in the Arabic language ends has a profound impact on the meaning of that word and the meaning of the phrase or the sentence in general. Right? Putting it simply, if you change the ending, you actually change the meaning. Right? Putting it simply, if you change the ending, you change the meaning. So you better be precise on your endings. right? Let me give you an example. Let's have a look at what inflection, what this concept of Arabic being an inflected language is all about. I'm going to give you an example. Again, don't panic, just to illustrate this point of inflection, right? كتب الطالب. So كتب الطالب الكتاب. Right. كتب الطالب الكتاب. Now, simply speaking, كتب means wrote. الطالب means the student. And الكتاب means the book. Right? So كتب is wrote. الطالب means the student. And الكتاب means the book. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. You've got the individual translation of each word. You've got the translation of each individual word. What do you think this sentence means? Right, just off the top of your head, you see these three words, you see the translation. What do you think? What do you think this sentence means? Right, yeah, so the student wrote the book. Right, so many of you saying the student wrote the book, and that's exactly what it means, right? The student wrote the book. Now, my question is, why did you say the student wrote the book? Why did you do that? Because that's not actually what I've written. Right, what I've written is, wrote the student the book. Why didn't you say that? You wouldn't say that because that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for you to say, oh yes, it means wrote the student the book. No, right? You looked at these words. See, this is the process that you all went through. You looked at these three words, and you saw that in order to make sense of these words, the best translation is the student wrote the book. Right? And so what you actually did subconsciously is you made the student the doer of this sentence, right? The student wrote the book, even though the student isn't the first thing that comes in this sentence, right? Even though the student isn't the first thing that comes in this sentence, right? But you translated it as the student wrote the book. You made it the doer, right? Also, you made the book the done to, the thing to which the action is done. And again, you did that because that's what makes sense. Right? So what you did is, in reality, you made the book the subject. So you made the student, you made al-talibu the subject, and you made the book the object. And you did that because that's what makes sense. Right? But there is something very concrete in this sentence. Something very concrete that is telling us that the student is the subject of this sentence, al-talibu is the subject of this sentence and nothing else. And that al-kitaba is the object of this sentence and nothing else. Remember, therefore, the only way to translate this sentence is the student wrote the book. What are those things that are telling you that the student is the subject and that the book is the object? Remember, we said that Arabic is an inflected language. An inflected language is a language for which the way the word ends has a profound impact on the very meaning of the word or the sentence. And that's exactly what we have here. That al-talibu, al-kitaba. Notice, al-talibu ends in an u. That u gives us a lot of information. That u is actually telling us that the student is the subject of this sentence. But the u is telling us that the student is the subject. Thinking, wow, who would have thought that small squiggle at the end of a word could give you so much meaning, right? Likewise, for the kitab, al-kitaba, it's the a at the end that is telling us that the book, al-kitaba, is the object and it's nothing else, right? So that's what we have. That's Arabic. That's an inflected language. The endings give us a lot of meaning. Right? The U is telling us that it's the subject, the doer. And the A is telling us that it's the object, the done to. A lot of information is being given just by those endings. Right?